I couldn't afford anything, and so I couldn't call the county and be like, I need help, because I was terrified that because, you know, my mom was a drug addict and I was in foster care and I'm this teen mom and I don't have a house, the first thing they were going to do is take my kid.
I had to drop him off at the police station. It was really traumatic. That was the first time I had ever been away from my kids after being a stay-at-home mom for 10 years.
It's heartbreaking. If kids are also undocumented, they end up being in the system, immigration system, and being labeled as an unaccompanied minor. That separation sometimes is forever.
There was no more like being a kid, really. It was more about adapting, surviving, and trying to understand and trying to understand and trying to understand.
Any human would know that threatening a 12-year-old girl with jail time for basic minor life events is traumatizing.
They responded to a crisis that was not a crisis, and in turn frightened my children and have scarred me, have scarred my entire family in a lot of ways, and it was all unnecessary.
I feel like everybody fears even asking for help, which keeps them actually into spiraling into worse of a cycle that they're already in.
The child welfare system is afraid that families are going to harm their children, and families are afraid that the child welfare system is going to remove their children. And so all that fear is not how change comes about.
So you want to change that system, but how can you change it if you don't go into the community and ask them what's going wrong and what's going right?
There is no one size fits all, which means everybody needs to be treated for who they are, where they are.
I think if we can create a dynamic where I, caseworker, call family and say, this is what I heard. Can you, one, tell me more about it, and two, tell me how I can help? If those are if that is the first line of communication with these families, you're gonna put that wall down, because you never know, that mom could be like, thank you for calling, I didn't know what else to do.
I think that we haven't listened well in the past to people who have experienced the system in the past. And what that requires from people who have encountered child welfare is to be very vulnerable and very courageous to share their story.
My mission and legacy in life is to be able to use all of that to prevent children going through similar things and to prevent that cycle of generational trauma.
Being able to sit here and say that I've witnessed so many great strides over the last 7 years is a moment of testimony, I guess, for me.
A big part of this project is all fundamentally related to the fact that we've never asked folks with this entitlement what they need. We've never asked folks with lived experience what we could have done better to minimize trauma, to minimize the chance of out-of-home care, to maximize what we have right now in our society to help parents when they struggle.